Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well and thank you for joining me today for this beautiful project. I'm going to show you how I made this card. It is used a 3D embossing folder. We're going to do inking, we're going to do a bit of ink splatting, and then we're going to put a sentiment on. And believe it or not, that is all it takes to make a beautiful, beautiful project. I wanted to come back after Christmas with something quick and simple and really easy, but really achievable, and I think that's what we've done. So let's see how it's made. Just because you have lots of elements within a product, it doesn't mean you have to use them all. So this is the Elegant Floral Spray, and it is an embossing folder, 3D embossing folder with stencils, and there's lots of these around. It just gives you options. It means you can do different things. So there's 5 stencils in here that you can lay over your embossed image once it's embossed, and then you can add your inks. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do something a bit different. I've got a piece of white card. I just want to show you this before I ink it. So this is a 5x7 embossing folder, and I've actually cut it at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I always cut it a little bit shy just so it doesn't come to the edge. But before we emboss, I want to do some inking, and you'll have seen these 3 ink pads at the side of me, and that's going to be my colour palette for today. So I'm going to get my first one. I'm going to do them in the order blue, pink, yellow. I think that's a lovely combination. Let's move those out of the way. I'm going to get the blue. Now I put a little bit down and then I just use it straight from the ink pad after that. So I'm going to put a little bit on my blending mat, and then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to ink. So this isn't the strongest blue. It's got quite a bit of turquoise in it. It's Oasis, so it's quite a nice sea blue. So I need this to be approximately 1/3 of the way up. Now, you know, often we'll see how it goes, but I often just sort of lay down the colour on the first go. If it covers right, then that's okay, but if it doesn't, we can just go back in later. You can see it's definitely darker on that side than this bit, but at the moment I'm just going to lay that down as my first third. So that's going there. Let's put that lid on and let's just wipe that away. So once I've done that, I'm going to go in with my pink. Let's get a bit there. Now this pink can be quite pale. I did consider just darkening it a little bit with fuchsia, but actually if you work it, you can get quite a lot of depth on here. So it just takes a minute. Don't be afraid to really work it. Now what I want to do, I'm not going to be able to blend from one to the other seamlessly because we're going from blue to pink, but what I can do is I can sort of pale off the silly me, let's put it there, see if it catches on the mat. What I can do is do it so that, you know, we've got a transition. So just keep picking up the ink. I'm just using, like I say, regular stamping card, 350 GSM. I'm not using watercolour card, which you'll sometimes see I do when I do water reactive inks, because I'm not really going to be doing anything to that needs watercolour card. So again, I've done about 1/3, so let's just put the lid on there and do the next one. I'm right-handed, so I am going to just turn that round. I just find it a little bit easier. Let's put some yellow. Oh gosh, my yellow's nice and juicy, isn't it? Wow, that is juicy. I'm now going to start with my cloth in my hand, just because I don't want to get any ink off my hands onto it. And I know what I'm like. See, I've already got a bit of pink down there, but it won't matter. By the time we're finished, you won't see. So I'm picking up the yellow and just dragging it on to the card. By doing it this, if you can get enough colour onto your mat, what it means is you're not going to get those swirls because you're swirling it onto your brush, and you're just going to get a better coverage. Sometimes you just can't get enough ink onto your mat. There, where it goes over the pink, I'm just blending it a bit so that it sort of just transitions from one to the other, and you don't go, oh look, it's a straight line between the 2 colours. I really want to just blend that in. There we go. Wow, that was a nice juicy bit, wasn't it? Don't need to do that. Now let's have a look. I want to just make sure our sections are roughly equal. I've got enough yellow. I'm sure I've got enough yellow. I'm going to come in with my pink again. Let's pick up a bit more pink, just a bit deeper, because we're going to emboss this, so you are going to be breaking up those fibres, so it is good to get a good colour blend down. Just make sure I've got a nice blend there. Now I feel like I've gone, oh, what's that? I had a little bit of, there was me using that. Let's see if I can cover that up. Don't worry, I think I had a bit of white on my cloth. So note to self, use a clean cloth. I can cover it up. There we go, it's not a problem. It's just a little bit of acrylic paint that was on my cloth. We're going to be embossing, so it won't hurt at all. Just blend that through, and you can see the two colours blending together beautifully. Oh, that's actually a lovely coverage, isn't it now? I'm going to stop using the cloth because it's definitely got white paint on it. There we are. Right, okay. So now we've got those, we can put the inks away. We don't need the inks again. Let's try and be a little bit tidy. And we can bring in our embossing folder. So what I want is the emboss on there. So when you look, I've got a raised side on this side and a indented side on that side. So this needs to be at the back. With Crafter's Companion, I think it always is, but I will just check where the writing is always the back cover. Now I want this with blue at the bottom and pink at the top. Some embossing folders, it really doesn't matter which way around you go. This one definitely has a top and a bottom. So put it in and you can see I'm not going quite to the edge. Pop that down. Then 3D embossing folder, if we mentioned, cutting plate. Normally with a Gemini, I would have another cutting plate on top. I don't want that because it's a thicker folder. So I'm just going in with my magnetic shim and my plastic shim, and that is all I need. So let's pop that through there. You might find your embossing machine goes a little, your die cutting machine, sorry, goes a little bit slower because there's a lot of pressure going on in there. So let's have a look at that. When you've got a lot of pressure, the machine has to work, so it does go a bit slower. So we can lift this up, and oh my goodness me, look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? Look at the level of emboss. Isn't that beautiful? Now what we could do is we could go in with some gilding waxes. I thought that would look quite nice. You could, like I say, you could put the stencil over and you could do some stenciling over the top, and then you'd have just a nice coloured background. It's entirely up to you. That actually would probably look really nice to put the stencil over now you've done that. But again, we're not going to. I'm going to bring in my trusty spray booth. So it's technical, isn't it? Really technical. I'm just going to get rid of some of that ink off there. And all I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of white acrylic paint. You've seen me do this before. I'm just going to, looks a bit yellow. I don't want yellow paint, I want white. So I'm going to put a tiniest bit on there. Really doesn't need to be much. Let me find a sprayer that will work. That one does. And I'm just going to spray on there. Then I'm going to bring in a paintbrush. I've got a paintbrush here. Just make sure the black's gone off it because I was using black. That's just staining. And then I'm just going to work that in. Now I can't flick this acrylic paint as it is normally because it's just too thick. It would be hard to splatter. So all I'm doing is just diluting it down just to make it runny enough to splatter. So once we've got that, you just need a tool, whatever you want, and then we're just, ooh, that is quite runny. There we go. Just do a few splatters. It's entirely up to you how many you do, but I think that will do. Right, wash my brush. Let's move that out of the way, because then I'm going to bring in some paint palettes, and I've got my shimmer ones, so I'm going to use Moonbeam. So Moonbeam was designed with dark papers in mind, but we're not going to be using dark papers. I just need to make sure I've got the white off my brush, and all I'm going to do is do a little spray onto Dahlia, which is this gorgeous pink here, and then I'm just going to blend it. I want it fairly thick. Needs to be thin enough to splat, but fairly thick. So we can put that on there. That might just need a tiniest little bit more spray. I tend to work like this on the palettes because anything that you don't use just dries back into the tablet of paint, so you're not wasting anything. If that's a bit too light, just pull in a bit of fuchsia. So then I'm going to do exactly the same, so you can still see what I'm doing with a little bit of the fuchsia, Dahlia, there we go. Wanted a bit across there. Right, that's that. And then I'm going to close that one up, and I'm going to look at shadow down here, which is the black, or nearly black. Just get the pink off my brush, and then wet shadow, yeah, down there. Really don't want it too wet. Oh, and then can work that just to make a nice paste. And then I'm going to do the same. Now, I haven't even dried the colours in between because it's hardly anything there. Really doesn't need it. Just like a little bit of black. But that's quite a nice one. There we go. And that will do. So what we've got is we've got our 3D embossing folder. It could be done a 2D embossing folder. We've done the ink panels across there. You could do 2 colours, 3 colours. It's entirely up to you. You do what you like. It can be any colours at all. And then I've got embossed it, and then I've done some paint splatters. Now I've just got one here. It's a tad drier. There you go. We're going to work on that one because we're nearly there. This card is so quick and easy to do, and that's what I like. Sometimes we just need nice quick cards. Just make sure my hands are clean. I've just had a shower as well, and I'm covered in paint. Oh well, never mind. So I've got a card base. I took an 8-inch card, or a card for an 8-inch envelope, and I've not cut anything off the bottom, but I've just trimmed it down at the side. And I've layered on some yellow because I thought it went well with that, and then some black because it went with the splats. And then on to that, I want some white. So, but I'm going to do it this way around. I'm going to pop this one onto the white. And you'll see all my borders are really, really slim. And because my ink colour has gone all the way to the edge, the white shows up beautifully. But even if I'd left it white, it would still look beautiful. Yeah, how quick is this card? So quick. If you've got the right tools, these things are so easy. But like I say, it doesn't have to be a 3D embossing folder. It could be a 2D embossing folder. If you debossed by mistake onto it, it would still look beautiful. So don't worry. You know, nobody else knows what you set out to do. That's what I love about card making. When you're making a card, no one else in the world, unless you're somewhere and they say copy this, no one else knows what you wanted to achieve. So you get a card and think, well, that is nothing like I planned, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure the recipient will like it nevertheless. So that was just a 240 GSM white card, and on the back of there I've used my sticks to foam roll, so we can take that off. I put a few layers on just to make sure it doesn't sag. Pop those bits straight in the bin. I have done a clean in my craft room today, hoovered up and washed the floor, which is unheard of. There we go. And then we can just put some glue on there. So I am being careful to try and put everything in the bin tonight because the floor has been cleaned. There we go. I think it's my birthday, won't it? Right, so I've got my card the right way up, 10-fold, because that's just my choice. You could do it side opening, and I'm going to pop that on to there like that. Now, isn't that looking absolutely beautiful? Now, this would even work with a pattern background. It doesn't have to be floral. It could be whatever you want. But I just think that looks so, so pretty, doesn't it? Really effective. I'm going to put that down to one side. And actually, I might just put my stamping block on top just to weigh it down, and then just put something heavy on that, and that'll just make that all grab, because I want to show you what I'm going to do for the sentiment. Now, way back I had a signature collection and I had some sentiments in here. So these, you can see signature collection, this is my handwriting. It just says wishes, and then I had stamps that went with it. But what I've done today, normally you'd cut that out of one colour and that out of another. Today I've cut the detail layer out of white. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Really, really lovely. You'll never understand what it feels like for me to see my own handwriting in die cut form. And then the matte layer, instead of cutting it out of card, I've cut it out of vellum because I thought that would give me a very different look. So we're going to pop the sentiment on top of the vellum. There we go. So this could be whatever your wishes, best wishes, good wishes, birthday wishes, hug, what else do you have? gosh, I remember sitting here trying to work out when I did this, all the different words that you need to go with wishes. But you can have whatever you want. And then, but I'm sure you've got other bits that would go. So I'm going to pop that in the centre of my vellum. And remember, what vellum does when you put it onto a project is it sort of just dilutes what's behind. So when we put that on, it's going to look lovely. And then just in, this was actually from a strip, and it said something about wishing you the best birthday ever or something, but I just cut the birthday out. So we've now got birthday wishes, but that's going to tie in lovely because we've put the black layer in. If I'd have just gone with that on its own, the black would have jarred, I think, personally. So I'm going to pick up this wishes, and now I could have put foam pads behind there, but I'm too lazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around with some 3D glue, just so that it just raises it very, very slightly, but it'll also mean it goes perfectly over the emboss. So you'll notice I'm just putting the glue where the white is. I can see, look, I've got a little stringy bit there which I don't want. So we just want to get rid of that. There we go. Got a stringy bit just there. So hopefully, I can just see the glue there. Vellum is one of your more, something you have to just think about a little bit when you're adhering it to your card. So I'm going to take that. You notice I've got my squeezy tweezers because I like that, because I'm not going to drop it. And I'm just going to pop this down here. And it's just raised, and look at that, the light from here, just casting that shadow. So all I do then, pick up my birthday. I'm going to, again, I might not have it as high, but I'm just going to put my let's just come in, put my tweezers on the other side. And then I can put that one just there. Birthday wishes, just top it down a little bit. And then the final thing I want to do, just because I do, and I just think it will just finish it off absolutely perfectly, is I'm going to put, there's the dot of my eye, I'm going to put a gem on there, and then I'm just going to get a couple of gems on here. I've just realised this is my first non-Christmas project since I went quite heavy with Christmas. I hope you like it. I think it's really, really lovely. So I've got 5 on. 1, 3 or 5 is perfect. And that's all I'm going to do. We have got this gorgeous card. I've used my signature collection in here, but you could be using anything. You could even stamp and then do your vellum behind. Just a couple of little gems, some inking, and that is my card finished. Isn't that beautiful? The first non-Christmas card for quite a while. I think I could have found a few more Christmas cards, but I think I was personally ready to come away, step away from Christmas. So I hope you like that too. Okay then. I'm going to leave you now. Thank you for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. Don't forget there's plenty of links down in the bottom in the description if you want to. And please, please, please leave me a comment. It really, really does help with my engagement. And I will try and respond to them all as I see them. But until next time, thank you for watching. I will leave my subscribe button up at the top for you to click on. And I will be back very shortly with another project. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.